parts of the corpus callosum. But we have these two different hemispheres. So these are our hemispheres. And we just learned that separating our two hemispheres is going to be the falx cerebri. We're also going to find that information on this side. So information over here is going to be information that comes from the body on the other side. So the stuff from here is going to go to this side of the brain, and the stuff from here is going to go to this side of the brain. So the idea here is that contralateral body info is found in the brain. So the left side of the brain is responsible for the right side of the body. The right side of the brain is responsible for the left side of the body. That's just a good thing to understand. If we took each of our hemispheres, they're each divided into 4 lobes. So if I took like a picture of it from the side, so I kind of just draw a cloud. Yep, there we have it. And then I'm going to have a temporal, we have our frontal, parietal, and occipital. So right here, this is our frontal gyrus. Its main job is going to be motor ideas. Parietal is going to be found right behind the frontal, and its main kind of thing is going to be sensory stuff. Dividing these two is our central sulcus. Behind the parietal lobe is our occipital lobe, which is supplied by posterior circulation. And that's main idea is vision. And then temporal lobe is basically just throw everything else that the brain needs to think about into this, but majority of it is hearing and smell. But it does like a crap ton of things, so we're going to talk more about it, but that's what the temporal lobe's main thing is. So I did that in that color. Let's just see. Parietal in this color. Occipital, I usually do in purple, so I'm just making a guess that I did it in purple again. And I think I do this usually in yellow, so we'll just hope that that's what I did when I was making the worksheet. Anywho, now each of these lobes is then going to be divided into gyri and sulci. And so if I were to kind of zoom in, and you'll see this in all my pictures that I have coming up, we're going to have these like this, the humps or the hills are going to be my gyri. And then in between them, so these lines right here, those are my sulci. So when you're looking at the rest of the worksheet, or well, when you're looking at this picture, I'm pointing out areas, I'm pointing out where the gyri are, but also what divides them from other areas. So the first one we're looking at is the frontal lobe. Like I said, the frontal lobe is going to be responsible for voluntary motor. Involuntary motor is going to mostly be due to the cerebellum. We'll get to that. These are the 4 major cortexes or areas that you're responsible for in the frontal lobe. First one is the primary motor cortex. Well, that's a really important one. So this is going to be the one, if you guys remember our cortical spinal fibers, this area is what's going to send fibers down. So this is going to be the starting point for those cortical spinal fibers. Cortical spinal fibers. Starting point, right? So it's going to be responsible for motion of our joints. So it's going to be what orchestrates the